A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis, presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee, on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and on the free Odyssey app.
2. Fly ball to left, got some carry to it. Casey's back, looking up, and Terang goes deep again. The power surge of Bryce Terang, his 13th home run. And the Brewers strike first.
And welcome into the Mason Crosby Show, live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Tommy Wortz in for Mitch Thunder Nellis, joined by the Packers' all-time leading scorer, the second most famous Georgetown High School voice you will hear in the last 30 seconds.
That's right.
Mason Crosby here. Mace, how we doing today?
Yeah, it's always good to have another Georgetown native, join the show. So it was nice to have Brian Anderson lead us off there. And it's always nice when Bryce Terang is just hitting bombs. I mean, what is going on? What was our over-under? We said
he's got to get to 21.
To 21? You're
21.
getting another tap, right?
Yeah, 20 no, 21 I'll
trouble,
get it.
Man. I don't know.
I'm rooting for it. I'm okay with it. If Bryce
What does he
Terang,
have, 7 or 8 in August?
he has 13 on the year. He has 7 since August now. Yeah, so in about 2 weeks here, 2.5 weeks, he's put up 7 homers. Bryce Terang might just be a power hitter at this point.
What he is now.
Might just be Barry Bonds at second base. He could be. He could be at this point.
He could be. How sad were you yesterday when that second game got canceled?
Well, I told our fearless leader, Steve Sparky Pfeiffer, that this game is going to get canceled at 6:30. Like, I already know this game is not going to get canceled until the leadoff show begins. And then at 6:38, the game gets canceled. We have no more game to look forward to. Drew still came on. We talked ball for 20 more minutes. And, yeah, it was just sad. Like, I was looking forward to watching the Brewers all day. But now, Mace, we get to do that today anyway.
Yeah, you had the anticipation. You kind of you planned and prepared for it. You did it. Now you get to do it again. I mean, I think, as Drew likes to say, that's free baseball. We got some free baseball there. Was he salty? Was he just sitting in the stadium like the whole time?
He was at the stadium, and he had some words. He had some words to say, very classy of Chicago, to wait to open the gates, sell some food, sell some beer, and then cancel the game for game 2.
Did they really?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Gates were open and everything. Like, they knew that there was going to be no shot this game gets played, and they still allowed fans to come in for game 2.
They have to check that radar down there.
Yeah.
They're just like,
they've never seen. I said they've never seen a George Webb or a radar over there. That's literally what Chicago has no idea what those two things are.
Well, I saw that meme going around of Craig Counsell just, head in his hands, just kind of rubbing his forehead, like, what is going on right now? Like, this Brewers team is just insane. I mean, it's like, and then I saw some fun memes on Twitter as well. If you haven't seen them, like, I think they were Brewers fans, and they're just like, oh, here's the Chicago Cubs' #1 prospect at the plate with he has an elite swing, and then he swings at something like so far outside the zone, just whiffs. And
that was the changeup from Freddie on.
Oh my gosh, that was so dirty. I mean, that thing just moved 2 feet to the right, right at the end.
I will say this, that the Brewers are just continuing to every day prove how having fun is so important in pro sports. It feels like in this moment.
This game.
They look watching the Cubs be sad for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Yeah, that probably sucks as a fan. The Brewers are never sad. They're either happy or locked in. It feels like those are the only two motions that they're going through at this time. And right now they are. They lose the game in Cincinnati.
You're talking about that, being locked in. I mean, it's like they lose on Sunday, but I mean, they were dialed in, they were locked in. I mean, they have to, they lose in extra innings, It's just like this team does it. It only has two ways to operate.
Yeah,
and that's what it is.
And Pat Murphy, I think, just continues to push that narrative, and that'll get us into our question here in a second. But Pat Murphy, I think that he has convinced the Brewers that they're bad still. That if they don't play well, they are not good. If they don't play well every day, they are a bad team. And this team looks at the record, looks at the stats, and they don't believe it. So they have to prove Pat Murphy wrong every day.
And that's what a great manager does.
Yes. And I think that this line here, like this right here, this from Pat Murphy yesterday in pregame kind of proves that.
Are they the underdogs? Seriously? They're the underdogs in this series? Look at the lineups. No way. They got all-stars. They got MVP candidates. They got guys, I mean, is there a rookie? Shaw's a rookie, right?
Casey's playing the first game.
Yeah, but he's played like 12 games. I mean, you got
he's played 12 games.
Veterans, you got Gold Gloves winner, you got world champions, you got, I mean, what don't they have? I mean,
what don't they have, right? And I
feel like Pat Murphy would come up to a guy in the clubhouse and just be like, "You think you played a good game today?" And like just stare at him and like whatever they said, and he's just like, "Okay,
yeah."
all right."
You know what? You know what the Cubs don't have? You know what they don't have? Caleb Durbin.
Sends that one deep into left. Durbin's gonna watch it fly. Tape measure job by Caleb Durbin.
Tape measure job, 419 feet.
Ooh,
that is
beat.
As far as Caleb Durbin can hit a baseball. I don't think he can hit one farther than that. His last homer before that was off the position player in the Pittsburgh series, and then he's able to fight back and launch one off Cade Horton there. It's the Mason Crosby Show. Question here for you on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line, 414-677-1250. My question for you guys is, do you still feel that the Brewers don't get enough respect in the National Major League Baseball spectrum? Because they were talking about this on MLB Network yesterday, Mason, and I sent you this.
That one got me fired up.
And it was Rob Parker, which I'm pretty sure, like, Rob Parker, I don't know how much he even knows about baseball at this point. Like, I know he's a part of MLB Bro, and they brought him on for that. But you'll hear some comments later on that just make you think there's no way you're watching baseball right now, Rob. But here he is commenting on the Brewers yesterday on MLB Network.
I mean, I don't want to discount winning, and I get it. You know, sports has a short menu, wins and losses. But when I look at the Brewers, the problem I have is, again, baseball has a way of correcting itself. Are they really that good? No, they're not.
No,
really
nobody's that good. No, nobody's that good. It's insane. However, they're winning all over the place, and they have elite talent. Contreras tied the game yesterday. He's an elite guy. He's a star. Yelich is a star. They can flat out field. They can run. They don't give you anything. And they've got frontline starting pitching. It's not a phantom. These guys are for real. They are. Nobody's that good, but they're very good.
But when you look at the National League, and I get it, what they've done and what they've accomplished during the regular season, but you just talked about it. I would take the Padres, Dodgers, and Mets over the Brewers to even start, and I didn't even mention the Phillies.
Have you been watching Mets baseball? You watch Mets baseball. Like, if you want to say Phillies before they lose Wheeler, okay. But this the Brewers have at least put themselves with Dodgers, Padres at the very, very least.
I mean,
they swept the
all
Dodgers,
just
teams.
Smoked
them.
Yes.
I mean, they are the best. You can't discount what they have done. I mean, and then to go into Chicago and win 7-0, like, it's ridiculous. I mean, you give up 2 hits. Peralta just serving, that guy just was a machine yesterday. I mean, they get 9 hits. And again, my question was, okay, because there have been some goofy things as you watch some of these games. You know, it's like the Reds play. But again, I think it's because of the stress and the way this Brewers team plays baseball. Like, they know, like, teams know, if a ball's hit into the outfield, on the ground, you got to get that thing and get it in. Like, you got to have some urgency, or they will get extra bases. They will stress you on the bases every day. And so, like, these teams are making mistakes because the Brewers are, like, forcing them into mistakes. These are not just, like, this isn't like an on accident. this team just stresses you out. And we've talked about that for the last month or so on how they're playing right now. I mean, the Chicago Cubs only had one error yesterday. So you can't say it's because the Cubs just couldn't field a ball, couldn't do anything, right? Like, I mean, and then the Brewers just don't make mistakes. They don't make errors, because that was a stat I was looking up, and I don't know if that is something that they keep, like error differential. Like, I mean, the Brewers have to be winning that on a day in, day out basis, right?
Yeah.
They're just very locked in, not making mistakes, and other teams are making goofy mistakes all day long.
Absolutely. And like you said, you know, they only had one error. It was on this play.
2-2 pitch. Ortiz, little tapper. That is going to stay fair. Throw to first is up the line. It gets away. Here comes Frelick. He's in. Jansen around third will be held. The Brewers lead 3-0 on a swinging bunt by Ortiz.
Swinging bunt.
The power of putting the ball in play.
The power of putting the ball in play, right?
The power of friendship and the power of putting the ball in play.
I just, you bring up a good point, right? And all highlights courtesy FanDuel Sports Network, of course, as well. But you bring up a good point where this just happens too much for it to be everyone crumbles against the Brewers, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be Brewer-driven at this point. It has to be something. And on that play specifically, it's Joey Ortiz who comes up with the bases loaded every third time he comes up to bat for some reason at this point. He puts a ball in play. And why not? Why not hustle down the line? Why not go for it?
They just stretch it out.
Why not make the play harder for the guy? If you're going to be Kyle Tucker and you're going to, lollygag your way over to first base and then get booed by your fan base when the Brewers do boot a ball and you're still thrown out, the Brewers don't play like that. And that's got to be top driven. It's got to be trickle down from there. And you hear a comment like that from Pat Murphy where he just loves the other team almost more than the team he's managing.
Seriously.
And it ignites a fire.
Games.
Yes.
I know. But I bet in in their space, like he's probably similar, but it's also like they know like he's got their back. Like he loves those guys in that building, in that clubhouse. But he is just gonna always put it out there like, yeah, we're not as good as we need to be. Like we're gonna keep working, we're gonna keep doing this thing, we're gonna keep driving. I mean, we talked about Scotty Scheffler. He's our he's our favorite golfer and he's everyone's right now. But it's the same type of mentality. Like McIntyre in this last tournament was up 4 or 5 strokes. And then he crumbles, and Scheffler just plots along and does his thing. Whenever you are playing great, whenever you are the best in the sport you're playing, other teams feel that stress, and they press and they try hard and they try to like make things happen because they know you're gonna bring it every day. And so like they are not, other teams aren't just playing bad. Like they might play bad against the Brewers because they're forcing them to. Because you're going to run the bases on a little dribbler, in the infield. Like some of these hits that they've had in some of these games where it almost feels intentional. They're like doing these chop bouncers, and it's just like I think there was one game they did it like 2 or 3 times. And it's like those are just unique and they're hard to field, and it's something you don't see all the time. And whether they're doing it on purpose or not, but it's just they're finding the bat on the ball so often that it just is going to make these teams have to work hard all the time. Like the home run league that the MLB has been for such a long time, it's like the fielding is not, you don't have to be as locked in, right? Because it's like guys are going to try to hit for power. So now it's like this Brewers team's putting the ball on the ground all the time, putting it in play, and it's forcing these teams to play real baseball.
Yeah, and Joey Ortiz didn't just do it one time, he did it twice.
Ortiz shoots one right side, clubbed out by Castro, not in time. An infield hit.
That's insane.
It's
to get
an
infield
RBI.
hit. Like,
bases are still loaded and the Brewers lead 4-0.
I mean, again, like
to get 2 infield hits is just insanity.
That one went to second base. The other one went to the pitcher. Like, that is pressure. That is applied pressure. That is not the Brewers are lucky. That is applied pressure.
It is.
When
pressure.
When you cannot make a play because the other team is showing they are playing harder than you, that's a problem with your team, not the team who's playing harder than you.
I know that's like the issue with that the MLB Network stuff, and the guy that came on, what was his name?
Rob Parker. Yeah,
and like I loved how though the guy, he was like, are you watching this? Because like they are like nobody is. I mean, I don't know. How do you say nobody is that good? This Brewers team is that good.
The Mets are 13 games back, and he said he would take the Mets over Milwaukee.
That's ridiculous.
The Mets have not played
after they just throttled.
Yes, absolutely. The exact same thing. The Brewers have done this now with losing so many pieces along the way at this point too. If you go back years, right, you can go back to no Willie Adames this year, right? That's the first one.
Exactly.
Last year is the first year without Craig Counsell. They lost Corbin Burns the year before that. They've lost David Stearns, who's president of baseball operations over in New York now. Not to mention every one of those role players that comes along the way too. Like the Brewers have done a fantastic job at maybe just building baseball a different way for a team. And maybe it's the original way. Maybe the Brewers don't play. You cannot say, though, that they are not playing an exciting brand of baseball right now, Mason.
I know. I mean, there's 6.5 games ahead of the Detroit Tigers, like in all of baseball. So you can't discount and say like, oh, well, it's the National League, like I would take these other teams. It's like they are better than everyone. I mean, they are just the best team. They're going to be well, let's knock on wood. It's baseball, but they're going to get to 80 wins, here really, really quickly.
Yeah.
Like that is crazy how like this team is not getting the respect that it deserves, because I would take this team in a series all day, every day, because they have the pitching. They play great defense, and then they will just make you play baseball day in and day out. It's just that is what they do. They just force you to play. It's almost like Little League baseball. Like it's just forcing you to like go to the fundamentals. I mean, when you have the bases loaded, you hit a ball to second base, and the guy just can't get an out. Like get an out somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah, right now. So there's only 38 games left this year. That's the number, right? There's 38 games left. The Brewers are sitting at 79-45. No other team has even close to that many losses. So you always look at the loss column because you can't take away losses.
The only team with over like a 60% or more win percentage.
Yes. 74-53 for Detroit. If you go to the National League, the Phillies are 72-53. They are 8 losses still behind Milwaukee in the overall
crazy,
standings.
Said the Phillies.
Yes.
All these teams. I mean, it's just like, get out of here.
It makes no sense. So now if there's 38 games left, in order to get to 100, if you're looking ahead, which this Brewer team never does, so that's why we do it.
Yes, we're doing it for them.
21 and is it 18? 6? What's the math on that?
Yeah.
Like
so they got to get 21 wins, and so
21 and 17, right?
21
That's the math.
and 17, and they've been in their last like 34 games, they've been
like 100-0,
29 and 5.
Yes,
so
yes.
It's like I think they, stuff. Yes, weird stuff happens, but it's also don't have Jackson Cheerio. Like Reese Hoskins has been out like for a long time, but luckily we found all-star,
Andrew
Vaughn,
yeah, the best player ever now,
best player in the world. And so like you don't have these guys. Miz has been missing in that pitching lineup for some time now. Like it's just crazy what they are able to do in a day out basis. Like. And now it's like, if you're the Cubs, do you want to face this team in a doubleheader today? Like, I think you were hoping it would just get over with yesterday, because now you're like, all right, we got to reset and go against these guys twice again today.
Yeah.
We were kind of locked in, ready to go. So I was worried about this team being the hunted and but everything Pat Murphy is, everything that these guys are, that like they just – maybe they're young and just don't even they don't even care or think about it. But how Pat Murphy and how this organization is leading this team, they just have this mindset that I think they are well suited to be the hunted, because they're just like, we don't care. Like we don't care. We're gonna hunt you down even as a hunted. They are predators.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
They are the predators.
You like that one? Nice.
That
nice.
One.
Well,
Alien versus Predator.
And on top of it, I think a lot of people think that Pat Murphy doesn't give enough attaboys, like in public, right? Or he doesn't give enough good jobs.
The professional athletes, you don't need an attaboy.
Well, and I think Pat Murphy is just trying to tell them that why give them that right now? Like, let's wait to give them those.
Right.
Let's keep motivating. Let's keep locked in. Let's stay dialed to what our mission is, which is changing every day. The mission is win today every single day for Pat Murphy. He does mention all the time how this team has bigger goals, this team has bigger plans, bigger aspirations, but it's never looking forward. It's just you cannot get to those goals if you do not accomplish what you need to today. And Pat Murphy has got everyone believing in that clubhouse. The power of friendship is stronger than any slugging percentage you can look at right now for the MLB, and the Brewers continue to shine, picking up the 7-0 victory over the Cubs yesterday. We will have 2 leadoff shows again today, 1 o'clock, 1:20 first pitch, so we'll have a noon leadoff show, and then a 7:05 first pitch in Game 2, so we will have a 6 o'clock leadoff show as well today. So very busy day today, Mason. Talking Brewers baseball.
Never ending for Tommy. So yes, we will have a lot of baseball coverage all day on the Fan Milwaukee. So we're going to shift some gears to the Packers and dive into a little bit of the football world as finally week 2 of the preseason wrapped up. An electrifying game last night against the Cincinnati Bengals and the Washington Commanders, where I texted the guys and I said, man, it's crazy. They've been talking to Jaden Daniels for about 15, 20 minutes, and they've shown like 3 football plays in that time span. So tells you what preseason football is in the world of sports right now.
With only 1 preseason game left to be played for the Packers, Sparky will be joined by guests around the NFC North today on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, starting this afternoon at 2 p.m. on 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan. It is the Mason Crosby Show, live from the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We'll be right back, talking Pack. Welcome back to the Mason Crosby Show, live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Tommy Wortz in for Mitch Thunder Nellis. He'll be back next week. Mason Crosby still here. Mace, still here?
Oh, I'm here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
just making sure.
You can see us, too. We're on YouTube, so make sure you go to the Fan Milwaukee on YouTube and check us out. Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that. You're just.
I know. You like that little plug?
It's like a year here now. You're just dialed in.
What are we going
to
do
go
for the year anniversary? In October.
Cry. Probably
Okay.
cry. Mitch will
Yeah.
cry. Mitch will definitely cry.
Yeah. Hugs. Lots of hugs.
Hugs and crying. You're going to be in studio for it. That's what you said. I think.
Is that what I said? What was our first day? October what?
October 12th, if I had to guess, something like that.
Actually, that's crazy.
Yeah, somewhere around
I'm going
there.
to Kohler Food and Wine that week, so maybe I'll just come in a couple days early.
I don't always give you credit when credit is due, but I finished watching The Studio yesterday as well, and that was awesome. That's a great show. That is one of my, I bit the bullet.
Come into adulthood, and you got another streaming service.
Right.
You got Apple TV.
Well, because the Brewers were playing on it, and I signed up for the free trial period, and then it was only a week, and they played on that game on Apple TV again in 2 weeks after that. Then I realized I was paying for Apple Music and for the extra storage already, so it was already like $10 a month. If I get the Apple One, then I get $20 a month, and I get the Apple Arcade and whatever. It's just dumb, but I watched The Studio.
They just reeled you in.
I mean,
they got you.
Like, as I'm saying it, is like, what a dumb purchase.
As you ran it down, you're like, wait,
I don't even use anything on this,
but
they
worth
got me
it,
to
right?
upcharge
I mean,
it.
The Studio is such
Fantastic,
a great show.
fantastic show. When he says, like, I'm not going to get made fun of by someone who looks like Jiminy Cricket, like, I lost it.
When I was listening and watching that show, like, I kept thinking about you and your humor, like, I felt like this just matches exactly like where your brain would go.
It was a great show, so check it out on Apple TV Plus.
So you watched
I guess,
it all.
if you want.
You watched the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, I watched all of it. 10 episodes or something, right?
Is it it's just one season?
I think it's just one season, yeah. I don't know if
the
they're going to...
Kool-Aid Man stuff.
It's just crazy. Crazy.
So ridiculous.
Yeah, insane work that they were doing there. Well, now that's enough for all what we're talking about watching, because we're watching a lot of Packer football as well. And
not a lot of players playing.
Not a lot of players are playing here, Mason. And I'm starting to ask now, Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line 414-677-1250 if you want to join the show. At what point should we be concerned about the injury situation for the Packers? And I want to talk about this with you specifically, Mason, because you hated practice. It sounds like you hated practice.
No,
Everything.
I like practice.
Well, you hated like people thinking practice mattered.
Meaningless stuff.
Meaningless stuff. Okay,
I need meaning in my life.
Allen Iverson, Mason Crosby, handshake, practice.
We're
We talk about practice. Yes,
come on.
Exactly. So the Packers yesterday on their did not participate list. Kenny Clark, Lucas Van Ness, Aaron Banks, Jacob Monk, Marshawn Lloyd, Baron Sorrell, Omar Brown. That was just added to the list yesterday. These were the other names that still weren't practicing. Christian Watson, obviously, Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Nate Hobbs, Xavier McKinney, Zane Anderson, Colin Oliver, John Williams, Savion Williams. Like, all of these guys are who we're hearing about all offseason are going to be a part of the 2025 team, and none of them are practicing, Mason. Is that not a little concerning?
Well, the concerning part is that none of them played in the game either, right? So, like, I get it. Like, you play on Saturday, practice on Monday. It's like you're still, kind of maybe recovering. Usually that's, like a Tuesday in a normal week. So, not overly concerned usually in that space, but during training camp, it's like, those guys should be practicing. If they didn't play in the game, you would hope that they would get, some extra reps in practice to get themselves ready. Someone that keep hearing that name, Jaden Reed. I mean, the fact, like, has he hasn't practiced at all, has he?
Not in a while, no.
Yeah, so it's like that's a little concerning. The wide receiver room, so many wide receivers, but I mean, now, like, the injury stuff is just adding up. Which is concerning as well. It was good to see, Jordan Love, like they said. I think we all took a sigh of relief there, right? That he was at practice, slinging the ball around, looked pretty good. I think he threw some good passes. I mean, literally Matthew Golden's going to be the number one receiver just because of injury.
Availability, necessity.
Availability. He's there. He's practicing day in and day out, which, is a Texas thing. He's just a Texas boy, just out there, just not knowing where he is. He doesn't know where he is because he doesn't know where Green Bay is, but he is out there and he's available and he's ready to go.
I have a question here, Mason, and it relates back to this injury report. Now, I would never claim that this is happening. I would never say that the Packers would do this or any NFL team would do this. But there are four people officially listed with an injury of back right now for Green Bay. Is there sometimes categorizing rest under a different injury title sometimes at these events?
Yeah, I mean, you have to label something, right? And it sounds like that's, again, what's going on with these preseason games during this time of year, that you have to have something if you aren't going to be available for a game, right? Like for these preseason games.
Yeah.
So that's there has to be some of that, especially maybe like a Kenny Clark. What they have him listed as? Was he a back issue?
Kenny Clark was listed as back injury. Yeah. Yes.
So I mean, I'm sure he's just getting some veteran love and some rest, just to not overload him, because I mean, the expectation is that he's going to be just a critical part on that defensive front this year and hope to make a huge step in the halfly run defense from what he did last year. And, he was injured most of the year. So like the hope is that you can keep him healthy through camp and at least, get him off on the right foot, the start of the regular season. Marshawn Lloyd is a bummer, but I do feel okay. Like, I feel good about the backup running back room. I mean, you got 4 good running backs in that, in that room with Emmanuel Wilson and Chris Brooks backing up Josh Jacobs. So want Marshawn Lloyd to be healthy because he is dynamic when he's on the field, but it just seems like that's an issue with him, is staying available and staying on the field. So you're going to have to be wary about that. And I did see that. So somebody, was it the Chiefs, put one of their defensive players on season-ending IR for a hamstring injury. Mm-hmm. So if you IR him, you can't IR him right now, or he will be out for the season. I think you have to carry him onto the 53 and then put him on IR is kind of how it works if you want to be able to bring them back at some point during the season.
Well, and at what point, how do you feel about the injury-prone question, right? Like, it's hard to argue for or against it. I just feel so indifferent, because at what point you can't say a guy is injury prone when he's still playing. It feels like it's a past tense comment where a guy was injury prone or got injured a lot, as opposed to when you're in the moment, like a guy with Marshawn Lloyd, where he continues to show these flashes, but he's never available on the field. Like, was Jair Alexander injury prone, or was he hurt a lot with Green Bay? Like, that's the argument, right?
If we want to talk about Jair, I mean, it sounds like he's still dealing with stuff there in Baltimore.
Yeah.
So, but again, we can't say like, oh man, what a great decision, because you got Nate Hobbs not practicing. You have guys that are still getting dinged up and having issues at that position. And it is football. Like, everyone's going to be hurt.
Absolutely.
Everyone's going to get injured at some point. Some of it is like the soft tissue stuff. You start kind of, and that's always been something in Green Bay, right? It's like you start asking those questions like, how are we preparing? How are we training? Like, why are these things popping up? Are we doing the right progressions for these players? A guy like Marshawn Lloyd, if I'm that, like, it's hard with young players. They're better with, like, teams are better whenever it's a veteran guy to manage those things. So, like, as a young player, you just have to basically try to get to a certain point where now you become a veteran and they'll take better care of you in a sense.
Really?
Which I don't think is the right mindset. Like, it's like, okay, Marshawn Lloyd has some hamstring stuff, some different things. What are they doing to help prevent those things down the line? and like how much is he running in practice, all the data, all those things.
Right. Are they just trying to establish?
I mean, it happened in a game, right? I mean, like, it's like you can't manage. And
I mean, he got rocked, like it was a big hit. I don't think a lot of people are totally, I know it was a hamstring on the injury, but he also gets hit hard. It's going the other way, probably some sort of extension that's not supposed to go that way. But I want to go back to your last point. Like, why is that the case? Is that something that, like, a pay your dues way in the NFL or with Green Bay, or do you think it's like they have to establish a baseline to know how much your body can handle, or what is that?
I do think some of that might be the case, right? It's like when you're a young guy, they're collecting all this data on you, and sometimes, unfortunately, maybe they don't have enough before it's like too late. And all of a sudden, you pull up with a hamstring injury or a calf injury.
Is that common around the NFL, or that's how
some teams are probably better than others? I think the Packers try to be really good in that space. Like I don't think they are the type of team that is just going to run guys into the ground and try to use them up and then move on to the next. That's not their mindset. They want their guys available. They want them on the field, but at the same time, like, they want them on the field. Like, you got to go practice. You have to be out there doing the work. And so I think sometimes with the young guys, they just, you push them to a point where you haven't gained all the data points yet. And then it's like, we went a little too far. Now we need to learn for the next time. And again, like, the nature of the beast is like guys are going to be hurt. Guys are going to get injured.
Right.
This is a physical, hard sport, and a lot of positions like running back, you have to be on that practice field. You have to be pushing it if you're going to go into a game, take the hits, do all the hard, dirty work that has to be done at that position. Like, that's the nature of the beast, and that's why you're seeing running backs getting paid a little bit better again now because the game is going back into, we're running the ball more in the NFL. But that's why a lot of teams were hesitant to pay running backs, especially, that third contract where they're getting a little bit older, because you just are going to get hurt and it's going to happen.
It's the Mason Crosby Show. Tommy Wortz in for Mitch Thunder Nellis, talking some Packers injury concerns. And I want to ask again, another follow-up then, Mason. What is a year where was there ever a year where it felt like the injury situation was better than some years, or was it always just the injury situation is worse with this mindset than when you were going into a season? So, like, right now, it feels like maybe we're not quite at a point of panic, but it sounds like a lot of Packers are going to miss the rest of the preseason camp right now, and they're hopeful for week one, but it's a very meaningful football game, week one. This is the Lions. It's a division game, and Andy Herman said it's not a 0% chance that this game doesn't decide the division this year, week one.
I believe that the schedule should be bumped up. Like, they should already be playing like this, at least right now, they should be playing regular season games. Like, camp's too long, how they train, coming back in the off season, all of that. Like, I've been a huge proponent of that, and I've talked to strength coaches. I've been in the NFLPA meetings. Like, the science of, like, the progression of training into the training camp is not done very well. From what NFL is, billions of dollars, this huge industry, but it's all about that. It's all about the finances. So they stretch that thing out as long as they can before they get to this regular season, because they know that there's entertainment and there's money involved and all of those things. Because I don't know the data, but I'd suppose in that COVID year, 2020, whenever we couldn't come back, we did a lot of virtual. Guys could stay on a really regimented workout protocol with, in their own place, doing their own stuff. And then you came back and you ramped up into camp. And then it was like there was not, I don't think, we didn't even have preseason games that year.
No.
So there were no preseason games. You could kind of take the load off of guys. You got things ramped up to where they needed to be. You basically had 2 weeks of practice, and then you were going into the season. Like, that's what these guys need, I think, for their bodies, because a guy like Marshawn Lloyd, he was hurt. He's probably been training this whole time. And like the wear and tear on your body, like, if you don't have a break, like, it's going to add up, and stuff is going to end up getting injured. So I think unless they ever decide, like, it's more important to try to minimize some of these injuries and shift how they come back to camp and all of those things, it's just going to continue to happen.
And I know that the Packers have a very young team just in general. I think we're actually approaching third year in a row they're the youngest team in the NFL. But it's interesting you bring up that point, too. John Williams, rookie. Colin Oliver, rookie. Lucas Van Ness, first contract.
Yep.
Dontavian Wicks, first contract. Jacob Monk, first contract. Quay Walker, first contract. Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, Zane Anderson, Baron Sorrell. That's 10 guys there of the injury report that it doesn't include Kenny Clark and Aaron Banks. I don't think there's anyone else on there that's not on the first contract.
And those guys are probably just rest. They're probably not injured. They're just
Marshawn Lloyd,
they're resting them with.
Omar Brown. Like, these are all young guys now that you're saying here. Xavier McKinney. Okay, there's another one that's on the second contract, right? But, like, that's an interesting point to say that you got to kind of get to a level, and I don't know what that means necessarily, but
and it's not that veterans don't get hurt and have significant
injuries.
Sure. But I will say, like, a lot of those injuries are unfortunately maybe more significant because they happen in a game, or they happen and it's like it's a bigger injury in a sense because you can't avoid it, right? Once you're in the game, you can't avoid certain things. But you know how to prepare, you know how to train, you know how to kind of preserve what you need to preserve into a season while still preparing and getting ready. Like, I watch it it's in 9th grade football, but a prime example is like guys learning when to like fly around and hit their hardest, right? There were a couple kids last night, sorry about that, and in Nolan's game that kind of came off with like a little lame, like a rock shoulder.
Sure.
And it's like they launched at somebody on like a wide open play when they could have easily just wrapped up and finished it off. But it's like this mindset that I have to go 110 miles an hour and sell myself out. And you kind of learn those things through experience where it's like, I have to go full speed flying around, but I'm going to take calculated risks whenever I go and sell myself out.
Is that something that the team is supposed to inform as well, or that's something that you just figure out through trials and tribulations?
You have to, I think that is earned. I think that's earned. Like, you just kind of like, once you've earned that contract, once you've done that, like you get a little more control over like how you go, right? So like these young guys are trying to still prove something, make a team, and like it is hard. It's hard, and inevitably you just have to, hopefully some of it in that space is luck. You have to get lucky that you don't have some sort of nagging, long-term chronic injury history.
And at what point
in your career?
At what point is it exploiting a young player though for a team?
I mean, that's what they do all the time, right? I mean, it's like that's just what they're doing. They just want to. And camp is tough because 60% of these guys are like
young guys, yeah.
They're there just to serve a role. They're not going to make this team. They're just there to serve a role, and so they're gonna try to show out. Like, I mean, we just signed a guy from the Colts. Packers just signed a guy from the Colts right after we played them, right?
Yeah.
So they saw something in that, and so that's like where you're always putting this out on a resume. If you're not on if it's not for the team that you're practicing with or in camp with, you're doing it for every other team in the league. So you never want to put on film a slow rep or not 110% rep, which that 110% is funny. You can only go 100%. Like, let's be real. But like, you're never going to not go full speed and show that on tape. And that is ingrained in all of these guys where it's like, because you go watch film and they don't know if you were going 100%, but if it doesn't look right, a coach will be like, that didn't look like full speed. That didn't look like, max effort. And it's like, well, it's the max effort I could give in that moment, but you're going to push it the next time because you don't want to be called out in a meeting again.
So what's the best way to make these injuries avoidable in your mind? Is it all just when the season goes to 20 games, because it will eventually get to a 20-game season, will there be less injuries during that season? More injuries during that season? Because they're going to come into August. That's what they're going to do. They're not going to go farther.
I honestly think it should get shifted this way. Like, why wouldn't they start before college football starts? They should start in this where that second preseason game was. That should be regular season game 1. And again, you come back and you ramp up into camp. You have 2 weeks to prepare, and then you go. Like that's how it should. That's probably how the progression should be. But they just, the teams don't see it that way. They actually still get all the TV and the money from having these preseason games. So I think they just are trying to maximize that. Player safety is a word that gets thrown out there, but that's not necessarily their main focus.
No, it doesn't sound like it at all. Quite honestly. Just a couple of dates here to remember for the NFL. What's today's date? The 19th, right?
19th,
okay.
Yeah.
So a week from today, rosters are reduced to 53. That is August 26th. We are approaching that day very soon here. Final cut claims due at noon on the 27th. The 17-man practice squad is established on the 27th. Final day of NFL preseason, August 31st. September 2nd is the top 51 cap becomes the total cap. Opening night, September 4th. Like we are right here. We are right here now. That is according to Spot Track there on those dates. I want to remind everyone as well that Football Talk on the Fan is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much these days, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday on CBS and Paramount Plus all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. Well, maybe we'll keep this conversation going. We have, more sound on some trade rumors here with Micah Parsons and how maybe it's not crazy. I mean, Jerry Jones, no way it's going to be totally easy with Jerry Jones being involved in the conversations on the other side. And Trey Hendrickson as well, still rumors heating up. Breaking news as well for you, Mason. Daniel Jones officially named starting quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts.
I think that's the right choice for them.
Packers did that. The Packers did that.
The Packers allowed that.
They did that. They made it work. You're welcome for the money.
Happen. Yep, you're welcome there, Daniel.
It's the Mason Crosby Show, live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Welcome back to the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers, live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Mason, I wanted to ask you about the injury situation with listing it as back and maybe not being totally honest about if that's a rest day or if it's an injury, right? Because it just reminded me of when we looked back when Tyler Hero was at Kentucky, and he went to the rival, not the rival, but in conference high school of mine when I was at Cudahy, right?
Yeah, dominated him probably.
He never cooked us for like 45 points a night every time. Actually, to be fair, his last game at Cudahy, he dropped 4 points. So made one shot, dropped 4 points, didn't play in the second half. Team still lost by 12, but. I remembered that when we went to look at his stuff from when he committed to the University of Kentucky, and if you go click on their bio pages, it shows their majors, right? Okay. And the University of Kentucky, like, what was your major? You were a comms major, right?
Yeah.
I was a comms major as well.
For sure.
Whatever they have for their NBA products.
Was it kinesiology?
It is not. It's exploratory studies. Which,
I love that.
I mean, just say undeclared, I guess.
Studies of everything.
Like
You're just
Tyler
exploring.
Hero was exploratory studies in agriculture. Quade Green, exploratory studies in agriculture. Same year. Yeah. Keldon Johnson, exploratory studies in agriculture.
No way.
I swear to God. Like, this is, maybe I'm breaking news here, but Emmanuel Quickly, exploratory studies in agriculture. I mean, there's everyone who is like,
that's crazy,
not worried about playing, like going to school.
Yeah, they're there for 2 years. They know, they're just like, all right, we're one and done.
And then Brad Calipari, right? The guy who's not going to make it. He's a senior or a junior at this time.
He's like engineer.
Pre-marketing. It's just the same thing. Like, he's got pre-marketing. Yeah, no, I guess full marketing.
Is that like a doctorate now? It's like pre-med?
Pre-med marketing.
Don't you just do marketing? And
Brad Calipari, MD, is it medical doctor? No, marketing director.
Marketing director. I love that.
But it just, and the other one is community and leadership development. Those are the two.
Yeah,
but literally their whole team is full of those 2 degrees on the team right now. So I was just wondering and curious how that might relate to the NFL and listing injuries, because
it's the same type of thing,
like,
right?
Everyone has a back injury. Everyone,
it's they just have a back,
right?
It's just like, he has a back confirmed, and we're just monitoring that.
I don't know.
Just looking at it.
Why does pro sports get a little more specific, and then in college sports, when they talk about injuries, they're like upper body? Like anything just from the belly button up is an upper body.
Just an upper body,
and then it's
torso.
like lower body extremity hurts. Like
extremity, yeah. Well, I read y'all that what was that last week, where the Packers fans have this I guess over-exaggerated expectation for what players should be able to play through, and it all comes from Brett Favre, right? Like that list of injuries that he had, mangled hand, like they were almost so detailed and specific with everything. It's like broken rib, like a shattered elbow, like, hamstring off the bone,
deformed face, like,
just everything was just mangled and mutilated. But he's going to play. He's probable.
He's probable,
which is
after all that.
crazy.
Yeah, and it jogged my memory of that, and I went and looked back. Go look at the 2018-19 Kentucky roster for basketball.
That's awesome. I love that.
And go look at their majors.
Kinesiology used to be a big one.
Kinesiology?
Yeah. I mean,
that's like tough. That's like a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah,
but that's still like not an easy degree to get.
Pre-kinesiology.
Pre-kinesiology, pre-marketing.
Let me say one thing, and like it's about the Daniel Jones being named the starter for the Colts. Like, we just maybe just an appreciation moment of being a Green Bay Packer fan. Everyone gets caught up on all the stuff that goes on, and it's like, can they win another Super Bowl? Are they going to be this team? Are they going to be that? But 32, 33 years, you have not had to worry about who your day one starter and quarterback was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is insanity.
Yeah.
Like, when you look at some of these other teams.
I know.
I mean, you look at the Cleveland Browns, they're starting Joe Flacco because they drafted 2 quarterbacks that they don't feel good about.
My life has never seen a quarterback battle.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
right?
never once. It's never been a problem. It was always going to be Brett or Aaron or Jordan in this case now. And maybe joining him.
Just a little appreciation there.
I don't know how much you should take into this, but Ian Rappaport hosted the Pat McAfee show yesterday. Yeah, that's a sentence I didn't think I would ever say.
That was not one. I was surprised when I saw that. I'm like, all right, that's who fills in.
And a lot of people, when we asked the question yesterday talking about Micah Parsons versus Trey Hendrickson, was like, well, they're not going to come here. Like, it doesn't matter. They're not going to come here. Why we can talk about it? Like, well, this was said yesterday on the Pat McAfee show from Ian Rappaport, who is Diet Adam Schefter. Like, yeah. I mean, at that point, like, it's the exact same personality. Yeah. He talked about Micah Parsons' possibility in Green Bay.
I would expect that the Packers would be among the teams interested. And I would say I would expect the Packers would be among the teams really interested.
Okay.
They have paid Jordan Love. They have a bunch of really good young players, but they haven't. There's some guys like Quay Walker they have not paid. Zach Tom they paid, but they have money to spend, and they are really good. And so, like, that's the kind of team that I would say if Micah was going to be traded that he'd be going to, because it's like we need one final piece. This guy is an absolute dog. He's worth all the money, so pay him all the money. Mm-hmm. I mean, God only knows what Mulugeta would make that contract. It'd be all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it'd be worth it because you'd get Micah Parsons.
I mean, first thing you got to take from that, Ian Rappaport, you are canceled from saying absolute dog. You just ruined the whole vibe with that one. You are not allowed.
That took him down.
Yeah, you are. He's an absolute dog. In the least amount, like the Fitness Gram Pacer test guy just said it right there. But Micah Parsons, there is an avenue for him to be considered for the Green Bay Packers. I can say that.
But you're also dealing with Jerry Jones, with the Dallas Cowboys. Do you think his pride? Do you think his, like who he is as an owner would trade Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers?
I mean,
do you think the price tag for the Packers would just be too astronomical?
I don't know. He traded a 3rd-round pick for Jonathan Mingo 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what position he plays off the top of your head?
He's a linebacker.
No, he's a wide receiver. Exactly. Oh. Like, it's just like
there is a Mingo linebacker.
Right? Yeah, Barcavius. Way different name. Way different.
That's way harder.
Way harder
than Jonathan.
But still, like, this is definitely not because the Packers cannot make this deal. It is now, what are you willing to give up? And if the deal started with 2 first-round picks, I think everyone's satisfied. If somehow it was 3 first-round picks, I think everyone has the mindset of, oh, the Packers wanted him. The Packers wanted this guy. And that's got to be good for something too, Mason.
I mean, I think if they go, if somehow they were to get Micah Parsons, yes, for the first time in probably a long time, but the expectation then rises, right?
Oh yeah,
like it goes to a whole new level.
Why is it not that high anyway?
You went all in now, and that's what everyone wants. But I think there's this hesitancy mindset that says, if we go all in and we don't get it done, then what, right? Because it's like, okay, we're always right on the verge. If we can go get a championship with the squad that we have, then that's awesome. But if you go all in and you don't get a championship, then what, right? So I do think there's always still that little, there's that little piece where fans want it to happen, but they're also a little scared for it to happen.
But also then at that point, if the Cowboys don't win a Super Bowl, is it an even trade?
Like if the
Packers get Micah Parsons, they give up so much. They give up all this capital, all this draft capital is heading to Dallas. But then Dallas doesn't do anything with it. Then it didn't matter.
Well, let me just put the bumpers on all of this too. If the Packers made a trade for Micah Parsons or Hendrickson, just keep perspective. That does not guarantee a championship.
No.
They are impactful players. They are they're going to help that defense, but you still got to go play the games and win the ball games. It does not guarantee a championship. So regardless of what happens there, if we keep that perspective, then I think we can be happy that we have a player, I would say specifically Micah Parsons, if he came to Green Bay, that you have a player for the next 5 years that is going to be a playmaker and an impact player for this team for years to come. So like you have to kind of take that mindset with a grain of salt. Like, all right, yes, we just became real contenders if they're not already that right now, but they took another step that this is going to be a team to be reckoned with for the foreseeable future.
I think we should continue this on the other side because I think that we should ask a different question and talk about if Goody doesn't make this trade, right? Maybe you see it as scared or passive or calculated in a positive tone, right? But it's not something that we would see the Bucks not do, right?
Yeah, they'd be in the mix.
Like it would be something that they would try. They would at least try. And I think that John Horst is perceived as a very aggressive but also well-liked GM in Milwaukee right now.
Yeah.
And it feels like Goody's a lot more divided. And there's people are way more split on what Brian Gutekunst has done for the Green Bay Packers. I think that he should be perceived in a much more positive light than he is, but there was a really bad draft history before, and he's brought in some free agents, but you haven't won anything. So now where do you look back?
Yeah, let's dive deeper into this, and we'll pose a couple questions that we were kind of mulling around on. If Parsons and Hendrickson do end up being traded, but they don't go to the Packers, like how as fans would we feel about that? If those price tags end up being like within the realm of possibility that the Packers could have done. So let's go into this break. Let's kind of mull that over, and let's dive a little deeper into it.
It's the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers, live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM from the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis, presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee, on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and on the free Odyssey app.
Hour number 2, the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers, live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Tommy Wortz here with Mason Crosby. Mason, say hi.
Hello, I'm here. Yeah, I'm just reading all this stuff on the old TV about our guy Parsons and and what's going on there with the Cowboys. So.
Exploratory studies and reading. Mason Crosby's
right,
minor in
I'm exploratory studies right now.
Exploratory studies in ball. That's what it is with Mason Crosby.
I just don't get these comments sometimes by like Adam Schefter. Like he's saying the way people are talking, I would think that there's a real possibility that if he plays this season, talking about Micah Parsons, it's potentially could be his last year for Micah in Dallas. But that I just like, does he forget that they can franchise tag the guy? Mm-hmm. Like Jerry Jones that's my only thing here. He has no incentive to move on from Micah. Like Micah is pushing the narrative that he will sit out and he won't play. So then the incentive becomes, down the line, 5 weeks or whatever before the trade deadline, your top pass rusher isn't playing, we're still paying his salary, doing all of this, but we're just not really getting any value. Then does that trade talk actually ramp up? Right now, Jerry Jones has no incentive to trade a guy like Micah Parsons unless the right deal and the right team comes along. Again, that's the only problem with the Packers in some of these big deal trade talks is they have to make it so much bigger than anyone else, like a bad team would. Jacksonville Jaguars, Cleveland Browns, who knows how the Arizona Cardinals are going to be. There's some teams that literally aren't going to be good, and they would have they would incentivize a Jerry Jones to trade with them more than the Green Bay Packers would, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. A worse team with better draft picks would totally do that. I understand the logic, but I mean, how bad were the Chicago Bears after they make the trade for Khalil Mack, right? Were they anticipating them? They were pretty middle of the road. I mean, they're still near the bottom of the NFC North at the time, but that's where you start with this framework. That's when the Bears gave up a first-round pick in 19, a first-round pick in 20, a third-round pick in 20, a sixth-round pick in 19, and they had to reach an agreement with Khalil Mack, which was 6 years, $141 million at the time.
And that was years ago.
That was right. That's 5 years ago. That's completely different money now in today's NFL, where it's probably a shorter-term deal because every deal is a 4-year deal that's actually a 2-year deal in the NFL. And it's $40 million. It's going to be bigger than TJ Watt's contract, right?
Yeah,
and
for sure.
That's what we also talked about that too, where Jerry Jones just continues to be just to show off his money, I guess, every time he signs someone, because he refuses to get deals done sooner, and then he becomes the guy who's paying the highest paid contracts at all these positions every time they sign.
Yeah, exactly. I guess that's his prerogative. Like he's not been shy about saying if we're not being talked about, I'm going to do something to get us talked about. So, we're going to talk this through till we're blue in the face, and then he's going to sign Micah Parsons, week 1 of the season to something, and it's going to be ridiculous, and we're all just going to be like, well, and then we're all going to go back and say well, we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
But we just talked about it for 2 months trying to see what was going to happen.
It's fun to talk about. I mean, and there is some sort of possibility that has some buzz around national media attention. We just played the clip there from the Pat McAfee show from Ian Rappaport saying that if a team's going to get a deal done, this is the team who should be involved.
Should be involved.
Yes.
They should be in those conversations. Again, what does that look like now, though? You're going to have to probably give next 3 first-round draft picks and probably a player. And you might have to, have some draft swaps, along the way there. But
give us
you're
your
gonna have to
six.
you're gonna have to send a player over to the Cowboys, I feel like, in order to sweeten that deal. So then let's just shift the conversation to what does it look like, and is it different for like a Trey Hendrickson? Like, I do think that deal is different than what a Micah Parsons deal would be.
Well, and okay, so now talk about it with Trey Hendrickson, who obviously is still unhappy with his situation. There officially have been some trade conversations going on with Trey Hendrickson across other teams in the NFL. It doesn't sound like the Packers are named on any of those lists, but at least there is an opportunity to trade for someone who is for sure available compared to Micah Parsons, who is not. And Trey Hendrickson is a guy who is a little bit older, right? He wants another deal done. You could probably get a shorter-term deal done with him than you could with Micah Parsons. You probably also don't make him the highest paid defensive player in the league, even when you re-sign him, compared to what you would have to do with Micah Parsons if he comes up. But now Green Bay, is it the ball is in Goody's court at this point? Like, is that what it sounds like? Because if you want to go out and make a deal for a Hendrickson compared to a Parsons, you are saying that you want a more passive trade where you don't have to give up as much, but I still get probably an upgrade to my team, as opposed to hitting the home run and giving up on the near future when you trade these picks.
The draft already happened in Green Bay, first round draft picks. I get it. I get like Green Bay and the way that they do it. And I'm actually, it's like, I'm really grateful for the way they do it because, we built some amazing teams in my time there because of the draft and develop mindset. And it is important. And the great teams and the great organizations across the league do it that way. Right? Like flash and pan organizations maybe will go sign some free agents, find a way to be successful for a short period of time. Green Bay Packers' long-term success has been because of the way that they draft and develop, and they get the right type of players in Green Bay to do it for a long period of time. And so that is awesome. Like, it's great. But I do think today's, sports, kind of environment and landscape, if you don't try, if you don't go and just throw something out there, then I do think that's a miss.
Philadelphia
I think you
Eagles.
have to at least be in the conversation, put something down and say, we are willing to offer this. If they don't accept it, that's fine. But
Sure.
you have to try.
Well, and look at Philly, right? They draft their quarterback. They don't draft him in round 1, by the way. They draft him in round 2. They trade for A.J. Brown, who is an absolute freak. Their number one wide receiver. They free agent acquire Saquon Barkley, right?
Which is crazy.
They also free agent acquire or trade, I can't remember now, with Darius Slay, who was a big part of their defense. They signed Zach Bond, who was a Saint beforehand. He was not drafted and developed on their team. But they draft and develop most of their offensive line, their defensive line. It's maybe just an easier position to evaluate getting to the NFL, the linemen, as far as, athleticism and strength and intangibles that can come with it versus how you play as a wide receiver or a corner or a running back in the
fitting
NFL.
Into a system and all of those things. Yeah.
So now it's like when you look at those, the best highlights of Brian Gutekunst's career also come from players not acquired from the draft.
Yeah.
It's Xavier McKinney. It's Josh Jacobs. It's E. Smith.
Whenever you brought in Preston Smith and
right.
Zadarius Smith. I
Right.
mean, those were his first kind of big signings.
Yeah, he has, all of his picks from 2018 are off the team now with Jair being onto a different team. He drafts Jordan Love in 2020. All the heat he got for drafting Jordan Morgan last year.
Josh
But then
Jacobs.
he gets a lot of his moves.
You bring in Aaron Banks this year. You're getting Nate Hobbs. You get rid of a draft pick and Jair Alexander. It's less draft and develop there in Green Bay right now than it is the key star players other than Jordan Love are mostly obviously wide receiver is all drafted and brought in guys through that process, but a lot of the key players that had impact last year were not were not drafted players. Malik Willis, when he came in, when Jordan Love got hurt.
If you
acquired him from the Titans.
If you eliminate the Chiefs, who get lucky by drafting Patrick Mahomes, and you can say that it's not, but multiple teams could have taken him beforehand, and he kind of falls into their lap, and they trade up to go get him, right? They really believe in a guy. If you eliminate the Chiefs, right? Looking at the Rams, who trade for their quarterback. They traded for Jalen Ramsey during that year. And who won it before? The Buccaneers, right? I mean, Tom Brady, not originally drafted by the Buccaneers. He brings in all his friends that, Rob Gronkowski comes in. It's not really draft and develop anymore in the NFL. And
that's your core. That's like who your core should be. But like Green Bay to have that mindset as well, like is kind of interesting too, right? Because Brett Favre, Reggie White. I mean, Reggie White is how free agency became a thing. Like some of the best players in like franchise history in Green Bay were not drafted by the Green Bay Packers.
Well, and it's just like now it feels like you got to get another notch in your cap of, hey, we went out and traded for our guy. We went out, we got a guy who we believed in and who we sold everything off for. And maybe that's reactionary, but at least it gives another flavor into a recipe that has worked in the past before. And it's something that...
Well, it's got to be a combo of the two. And Goody gets it because he's signing players.
Right.
He is going outside of the team to get some free agents and willing to let some of these draft picks go. And that's why I'm like, why just... like, don't hold on to those draft picks if there is a viable option to go and get a world beater type player like a Micah Parsons.
That is how the Milwaukee Brewers operate, right? They are draft and develop, and they do not really go out in free agency. They don't make a lot of moves at the trade deadline, and it's the exact opposite with the Bucks, where everything is reactionary. Hey, we have a chance to go get Damian Lillard. Yeah, here's Drew Holiday. Hey, we have a chance to go get Miles Turner. Hey, get rid of you, Damian Lillard, right? These are moves that the Bucks have been making now for many, many years. Even the Drew Holiday deal, when they gave up a bunch of picks, sent it over to New Orleans, like that's how the Bucks built it, and maybe it's different. It's definitely different because of the two leagues. The NBA and the NFL can be run totally differently, and each player has significant more value to a team per player because there's only 15 guys on a team compared to when there's 53 guys on a team.
Can I throw a name out to you?
Yeah.
And I just want to know what you think of this name whenever when I throw this out there. John Dorsey.
Okay, what am I supposed to think?
Just do you know the name?
He's GM, right?
GM.
Yeah.
He drafted Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
He brought in Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
He built that Chiefs team.
Yeah.
As is right now.
Right.
Do you know where he is now? And where he's been?
No.
Since 2021, he has been with the Detroit Lions. And look at that squad.
Yeah. Who also traded for their quarterback.
John Dorsey.
Also traded for their quarterback.
Yeah. But like talk about a guy not in the Packers building anymore. And he obviously is an instrumental piece in building great rosters.
Yeah, yeah. And he also brought in David Montgomery. I know Jahmyr Gibbs was his draft pick. But they bring in pieces too.
So I mean, the question is, like, John Dorsey was in the Packers organization. Like he went out. Like, should he have been the predecessor to Ted Thompson? And Ted, he just was, maybe Ted wasn't ready to go whenever he moved on to Kansas City when Dorsey went there. But, I mean, John Dorsey has built some squads, like, across this league. I mean, the Detroit Lions, I didn't realize he had been there since 21.
Yeah.
I mean, they are the roster they are because of a guy like John Dorsey.
Right. He came in immediately at that time.
That's senior personnel executive.
That's when Stafford and Goff trade happened as well. It was right at that moment, too. And
obviously willing to do big moves to get the type of players that are going to really execute. And again, not saying that Goody's not afraid to do that. Like he has made moves. Like right away he signed 2 really good pass rushers when he first took over.
Yeah,
and we had great and we built some great teams. So it's not that Goody's not capable of doing it. But some of the draft has not gone the way that I think Packers fans would probably have wanted it to go. So let's not be beholden to those draft picks if there's a path to go get a generational talent, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his draft history, we've done it before on this show. It's not great.
It's not great.
The recency looks really good, but again, it's just because that's like how he wants to try to build the team. And when you say really good, it's really just looking at who's going to start, who's going to play for this team. I think he's got a home run pick with Edgerrin Cooper, right?
Yep,
that's going to be his guy that he'll be able to say, I found him in the second round, and I think he's going to be a long NFL career, successful NFL career, a lot of accolades that are going to come with that guy's career as well. And Jordan Love, like that's really the two guys that he's banking on right now. If Jordan Morgan earns the left tackle spot and is able to be there for a long time, that's another one they'll look back on. But as far as to sustain what this team has, like he's banking on those two picks right now, Mason.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see if they make a move. I try not to live in the fantasy world. Like I can't see Jerry Jones parting ways with Micah Parsons unless it's just to a bad team where you know you're going to get an early first-round pick next year, and they offer up just ridiculous amounts of capital around that. But I can't see it happening at the moment. But crazier things have happened, right? And Jerry Jones is not shy about doing the wild thing. It's either that he's going to sign him to the biggest contract in the non-quarterback contract in the history of football, or there is going to be a wild trade that ends up happening. Those are kind of the two paths forward. I don't see. I don't know. I don't see like Micah Parsons sitting and them just like not getting value out of him as the season unfolds.
Want to remind everyone, important PSA for our listeners, that the Mason Crosby Show is also a podcast. You can find us anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. YouTube, you can watch back all the full shows as well. Catch the full episodes, listen by individual hour, jump straight to the highlights. Just open up your favorite podcast app, search The Mason Crosby Show, hit the follow button so you get every minute of the show your way and on your time. I would like to continue our expansion conversation on the other side because we have some updates with that as well. Not necessarily updates, but more sound. And it's business, right? We're all business at 1020.
We're all business.
All business at 1020. So we'll continue our talk with the MLB and expansion and what it could mean for Milwaukee in the future. Possible division shakeups during this time. Could there be more AL-NL mergers of divisions if it were to go down? It's the Fantasy Business Hour with Mason Crosby coming up next. Right. It's the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers, live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
to the fan, kicking with the best. It's Mason Crosby time. He lines up under the Friday night lights.
Why do they say Friday?
I don't know.
Like 18-year-old Mason
Seriously,
Crosby back in the
throwback.
day, just going and kicking.
It's just the story, yeah, coming from high school.
It's the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers, live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, presented by AI-generated music as well during this segment.
I guess that's what we're doing now, yeah.
Wanted to ask this question because we continue to hear some more rumors about the plant comment from our guy Bobby Manfred of the Major League Baseball Association or League, whatever it is. Anyway, MLB seems like expansion is going to start heating up, and the conversations for expansion are going to start being more and more relevant in our lives when we talk about Major League Baseball. And why not, right? They're growing at an exponential rate, it feels like right now. The sport is more popular than it has been in, over a decade, maybe 2 decades now at this point. And we continue to hear comments about how Major League Baseball will be realigning. And I brought up a couple of team names yesterday, right?
And you found something to back it up.
Charlotte, with Nashville, Salt Lake also being a part of this conversation now too, and Jeff Passan also on the Pat McAfee show brought up some more points here as well when talking about expansion in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, Jen, I don't know if this is just kind of like a known thing, but it was kind of shocking when the commissioner of MLB, Rob Manfred, last night basically said, like, hey, yeah, expansion is coming, and we're also going to have to look at kind of reformatting the divisions and everything, where potentially in a world, the Yankees and the Mets will be in the same division, maybe with Boston and, Philly. Who knows how they're going to do it? Was this like expected? We know this was coming this soon. And what kind of timeline could this potentially be? Because hearing that last night, I genuinely was like, holy shit. Yeah. So close on the horizon.
Let's start with the timeline, Ty, because that's the most important thing here. This is at minimum like 4 years off. Okay. I think there is a possibility, and all of this goes according to, do the A's move to Las Vegas as planned and expected, and what of the Tampa Bay Rays? They just are in the process of selling right now, so the likelihood is that they will remain there. There would be 2 expansion teams if owners go forward with it. And look, owners want the $2+ billion expansion fee that they're going to get. At the same time, they also understand that this next television contract after 2028 that they expect to sign, that they want to cover everything in baseball, not just national TV for the World Series and for the postseason, the All-Star Game, and other things like that, but they want it to be all of the local television rights as well, and to pool those and get an enormous number that they can then distribute out to every team. So they have to get their ducks in a row, but expansion just makes sense because of the windfall that would come from those expansion fees being redistributed out to all the other teams. And listen, I think Nashville is almost a shoe-in at this point.
Yes.
You've also got Salt Lake City, which has really impressed people at MLB. And they've got ownership in place. They've got a stadium plan in place. Des Moines is not going to be, but they just represent. Yeah, don't talk.
Yeah, there is Jeff Passan on the Pat McAfee show talking about expansion. Like I said, Salt Lake, it's been kind of impressive, and it doesn't make sense with their logic of what they were talking about yesterday, Mason, where, we want to avoid a lot of West Coast schedules, but then they don't add any West Coast teams, right?
Yeah, that was weird. And then, in that expansion talk, they didn't add any West Coast teams. I saw another one where it's like without expansion, and I was... What is this? Owners. I just saw this. It just popped up on my feed as we were talking about it, which is weird, right? It's called Owners Box on Instagram, but
yeah,
this one makes no sense to me though. just how they realigned it, but they did a MLB Eastern Conference and a Western Conference.
Right.
Is how they did, and it was Great Lakes Division, Metropolitan Division, Atlantic Coast Division, with 5 teams in each. But this makes no sense because they have Toronto, Detroit, Cleveland, Milwaukee, and the White Sox. And then they have the Cubs in the Mid-America Division on the MLB Western Conference. Aren't they further east? They're south.
I guess they're north.
It's close.
They're north of Chicago, the White Sox. The White Sox
Well,
are the
no,
south
I know,
side.
but I guess I'm just trying to think. Milwaukee. I mean, I guess Chicago's a little east. It's southeast of Milwaukee, right?
Is it? I guess, yeah, because
I guess
otherwise there's a
little bit.
lake. Yeah, I
No,
can't
mean,
get
it's
more.
a little southeast. Yeah, like Wrigley is definitely, I would say, east of Milwaukee.
Well,
but they have the Reds, Cubs, St. Louis, Kansas City, and Minnesota in that.
If there is going to be MLB expansion, Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line 414-677-1250, the number to join the show. If you want to see the Brewers division, what does it look like with an MLB expansion? Now, assuming that 2 more teams get added, whether it's one team goes into the AL and one team goes into the NL, or 2 teams go over to the AL and then they move teams over to the NL, whatever it is, it's going to get cut down from 5 teams to 4 teams in a division. And the division that makes the most sense to me, at least, if you want to cut down on wear and tear, you want to cut down on travel time, is that the Brewers are in a division with both Chicago teams and the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any easier than that. I don't understand why it would be anything else. They're all in the same.
And the Detroit Tigers.
Well, they wouldn't make it because it would be you're looking at 4. It's 4 sets of 4 now instead of
Oh, you said
5
4.
teams,
Sorry
right?
about that. Yeah.
Well, it would be 16 in each. They'd have to probably make
Yeah, with the
4s,
expansion.
right? So, but that division sounds like light work for Milwaukee during that
Seems
time.
easy. Yeah, exactly.
And on top of it, now what do you do with playoff formatting? Do you eliminate a wild card team, or you do the same thing where it's 4 division winners, right? And then a play-in maybe with the top team getting a bye?
Do you think you add a team in London?
Oh my God, I hate.
Yes.
This is the worst. You're the worst. Why don't we just give every team in Major League Baseball a Premier League team, and based on how they finish,
I do think. Red Sox
let's
ownership group has Liverpool already.
Why don't we get a promotion relegation system in Major League Baseball?
They're doing it in Live Golf.
So now, yeah, of course. And you know what? Everyone says
growing.
how
It's
amazing the leadership is at Live Golf.
It's
That's
growing.
what everything is. Yeah,
that system is growing. Don't hate on
problems
it.
at all with their executive
Let's do
programs
a promotion
over there.
relegation system in the NFL and in Major League Baseball and in the NBA. Like, that would be awesome.
It would not. No, we're not doing
What?
that. I'm not bringing up AAA guys.
Nashville Sound could end up being in an MLB if
They're going
to promote
it
up.
sounds like they're from passing that they're going to get a team. They're a shoo-in. It's like
But you don't even need to create an MLB team. Just make a promotion relegation league.
Oh my gosh!
Just let the AAA teams have a chance to promote up into the majors.
You are not helpful right now during this conversation. You are not.
Oh, no, that's what it is. You just don't expand. You have 32 teams. The current AAA team, like whichever AAA teams play, and they end up being the top 2 teams every year, get to be the 31st and 32nd team in the Major League Baseball. That is a great, why not?
Because we don't play baseball like we're European. All
but
right,
that's just
that's
the
not,
two.
It's not called England's pastime. This is not what we do here.
But I mean, you could do that. You already have those systems set up. They have teams already created, and then one franchise or 2 franchises then have 2 teams.
Then there's going to be
Major League Baseball.
Service
then
time problems.
Yeah, then corruption happens.
Yeah, corruption's happening. It doesn't happen. It's happening currently. I guarantee that. But now, looking at how this could map things out, I don't know who the Brewers would play in their division if it wasn't the Cubs. No one else makes sense. I guess the Brewers, I didn't realize how bad they are geographically located for their division, but it's going to be, assuming with expansion, a geographic realignment as well in Major League Baseball.
Well, you got to think with what the commissioner said on just wanting teams to be playing more favorable times, like, with TV, and I'm guessing ratings, aren't good, for certain games. Like, they just want to make it more favorable that people are going to watch these games against certain teams in certain time zones.
Could you imagine a division in Major League Baseball that's the Mets, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Phillies? Like, that's what we're going towards. It almost makes
no sense that it's not that. I mean, that would be electric,
yes.
Right? And I mean, the Brewers, Twins, Cubs, and White Sox, that would be an electric division.
Well, it would that
would be awesome.
And like we were talking about yesterday, right? There's already these rivalries.
Baseball divisions have never made sense to me anyways. Like, when I look at them, I'm like, why? Like, it's like the NFC East. That doesn't make any sense. Why the heck are the Cowboys in that?
I was just going to say, the football divisions make very little sense outside of the NFC North.
Well, what used to be the NFC Central, right?
Yes.
With
the
Tampa Bay.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah, they've never made sense. But if baseball wants to be, they could steal a little bit from football, or at least try to, and capitalize on a lot of those rivalries that are already in place in football, right? It's Chicago, and not that
What's nice for people to be able to drive to more games, away fans and things like that, to be able to just hop in their car and go watch their teams play. I think you would fill stands a lot more, more often that way too.
More than if, okay, I better go to the ball field today because we're playing the Yankees.
What do you mean?
Like, that's something that people have in a factor too when they're going to these games is, I get to go watch
random team. Yeah,
well, I get to go watch Aaron Judge.
Yeah,
right. I get to go watch Shohei Ohtani when I go to American
whenever
Family
you have
Field.
These divisions kind of scattered a little bit,
Well, and now they have it. I don't know what would happen with the schedule.
But you're still going to have those matchups. I mean, it's not. You're not going to not.
But that's
play
very
those
new.
teams.
That's very new to baseball, where every team plays every team. They used to play 162 games a year, and yet still didn't play every.
All the teams.
No,
that is crazy.
That's very new. That's the last few seasons because
that's wild.
It used to be like on the NFL, where it's like a 4-year cycle with the division.
It took them that long to realize, hey, we play all these games, and somehow we haven't been playing.
Well, you played
all the teams haven't been playing.
You played
other. It's not like you have 100 teams.
Yeah, you played each team in your division 19 times. I think it was. It was a ridiculous amount, which works out to just about half of your games were against the Pirates, the Reds, the Cubs, and the Cardinals. During that same stretch. So now, if you shrink divisions, make it more geographically friendly, what do they do again with the schedule? Because that's going to be another discussion and another topic here. I don't know, this CBA that they got or whatever it's I don't know if it's called a CBA or if it's the same thing with Major League Baseball, but it sounds like there is a lot of disagreement coming up in 2028. Once that's done,
I love it.
It's a
Start
huge,
a fight.
It's just, there's nothing more that Mason Crosby loves than the players mad at ownership because
just
of some
everyone mad at each other.
Yes.
Just start chaos.
Well,
let's just do it.
They got to establish something here, and it sounds like that'll be a topic for the next CBA, but this is another added, bonus to what could go wrong for baseball come the end of the CBA if they don't have a really good plan on expansion and realignment during that time.
I mean, do you think they ever change it from National League and American League?
No,
do you think
no
they just
shot.
go East-West?
Oh my
that
gosh,
one proposed?
the baseball purists would be so furious. Oh man, it just no.
Do you think
shot.
they ever flip team? They would flip some teams out of. Like that, the White Sox would go from American League to National League. Do you think people would be would lose their minds over that?
If their priority was geography divisions, why would the Dodgers not be in the same division as the Angels?
Pittsburgh makes no sense, in the
in the Central,
there.
right? Yeah, they're in the
why
Central.
Are they there? Why aren't they with the Phillies? But I guess Philly's more coast. I mean, Phillies almost makes sense with Mets and Yankees and that group in Boston.
And it could create more rival experiences that you can see. You can sell
Pittsburgh
that more.
Probably goes in with Cleveland and Cincinnati and that group, right?
Right. Yeah. Why? It doesn't make, if that was the priority, and maybe you throw in Detroit, right? Detroit gets that division
they
right
could
there.
Bump over that way.
Yeah. So it's anywhere from Detroit to Pittsburgh, and they cover the division like that. It would make way more sense for baseball. And does divisions being geographically correct help the money situation for ownership, Mason? Probably a little bit on travel time and all that, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you would think like Milwaukee going to Chicago, more times.
That flight to Chicago's got to be a lot cheaper than anywhere else in the country for Milwaukee.
I mean, you just drive down. I mean,
well, they will not do that.
You just bus down.
No, they would not do that.
Where you find that private plane right into Midway?
100%. 100%. There's no way that they're driving down to Chicago. I would be amazed if the Bucks or the Brewers are flying to Chicago every time or driving to Chicago every time they play there.
I mean, I get it that we
did you ever take a bus?
Green Bay.
Did you ever take a bus?
No, I mean I get from Green Bay, but Milwaukee's like it's 2 hours closer.
Yeah. So. Let's drive this bus around Chicago too while we're at it.
You still have to get on a
pain.
bus from Midway to go to your hotel,
right?
To the the ballpark. So.
No, I think it's probably got to be. It's still they would make it would make
give
no
them
sense.
A really nice bus.
A really nice bus. I mean, this is like how CBAs start right here. You are the ownership.
I'm just trying to save
right
them
now.
money. I'm just trying to save them money. Let's get them on a bus. Let's go back to old school ways where you're just you're just living on the bus and you just cruise around and you're just playing multiple games there in Chicago, and then you jump on the bus and you head to Minnesota.
What's your favorite game that you played on a private plane? Or on a team plane, I meant more just something like that. What's the best game that was up there? Cards? Is it just always cards?
Yeah, we played a lot of Boo-Ray.
Boo-Ray?
Yeah. Boo-Ray, yeah.
What is Boo-Ray?
If you don't know, you can't handle it.
Okay, all right. Cool.
It's
Great.
a Trump game. It's a little like you choose a different Trump every go around. It's a lot like euchre or sheep's head.
Okay. Yeah, old man games with Mason Crosby.
But it's stressful. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I don't want to get you in a Cleveland Guardian situation.
Yeah, don't
here.
get me
any.
We played for
respects. Respects. Yeah. It's the Mason Crosby Show. Coming up, we're gonna get to Mason's extra points here. How do you want to see the Brewers' new division? If they are talking realignment, I think there's one correct answer, but maybe you guys have other ideas. Cubs, White Sox, Brewers, and Twins all get formed together. That'll conclude the business hour on the Mason Crosby Show.
I can't wait for the Liverpool Redcoats to be part of the Major League Baseball.
The Redcoats now? We're gonna literally lean into it that hard?
What? I mean, what?
The Redcoats. Why don't we just call them
We have the Yankees.
Okay, that's
why not?
We celebrate that. We don't have the Reveres
the Brits?
anywhere.
We'll just go London Brits.
London Brits. No. Biscuits.
London Bridges. The Bridges.
The Bridges.
The T-Man. The T-Man.
All right.
T-Man.
I can turn your mic off whenever I want.
Just
over
shut
here.
me down.
Yeah.
No, but I'm all for it because I know it bothers you to think that London and England are going to get more of our sports. Creeping over there.
None of them. I
don't see Major League Baseball going, but who knows?
They played a game in London. They did.
See. Well, it's happening.
Well, and we're going to take a ship there on your CBA agreement, too, because it'll save money and we can transport more cargo. Yeah, that's what they'll do. They'll just bring over tea.
You got to leave a week and a half early and just play games on the boats on the way over.
It's the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers, live from the 1250 AM, 105.7 FM in the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Mason's Extra Points, next.
What's on Mason Crosby's mind today? It's time for Extra Points, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan.
Oh, great Tuesday here. Tommy, appreciate you filling in for Mitch Thundernella. You're always here. Filling in. Like, you're always here. You're always in station, and you'll be doubling down again today. Hopefully both games get played, and then you can just have a one-off the next couple days. But T from Pewaukee hit us up on the Nikolai Law Fan Talk and text line, and he said there will be teams in Asia before Europe. Look at the Dodger Stadium with all the visitors from Japan. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I don't know about that, but that at least, it kind of makes sense.
They have a very popular baseball league in Japan already.
It's already
with
exists,
very talented players.
So that's why we're going to England.
God, no, we're not. We're not going to go to England. That's not how it works. Like, that's why the NFL is going to England, because there's no established league in the NFL or any real, European football leagues. They used to have NFL Europe, but not doing a lot with it over there.
NFL Europe was awesome.
Did you ever get to go? Like, do you ever get to go because of the NFL? Well, you played one game, right?
I played in London, but and they're doing more like academies over there now. So like where we trained and where we stayed, they had like a field and like a weight room and a whole like clubhouse type setup for these academies that they run to try to develop football over there in England.
That's how they had the pathway players, right? The guy from
and they still have those things. Like even on the Packers, the kicker.
Rough day last Saturday for him.
Yeah.
Wasn't ideal.
Not great.
So Ireland,
and I dove more into the kickoff as I was watching last night, and I'm just like, I guess like the ball is getting out to the 30 plus more often than not. Like, it's just hard to not to tackle them inside the 30-yard line. Just how you have to kick it and like the timing and all of that. Like, but the play just is boring.
It's dumb.
Like, it's slow.
It's dumb.
It's just like it looks goofy.
It is dumb. Two things can be true. The kickoff was dangerous, and the new kickoff is dumb.
Yeah.
Like, that's
the
what
new.
The new. New and new. Dumb.
New.
Yeah. New is
what's
going to
be the new?
It's probably going to be just eliminating the play altogether. Just take the ball.
Which is
a
bummer.
Right?
It's such an exciting, electrifying play whenever somebody takes one to the house.
Or when someone's not dying on it as well.
It is just so violent.
It is a violent play, and it's going to be a violent play. It's a violent sport. Like,
yeah, but that one was just over the top. Like, the data was non-refutable on how serious some of the injuries were in that play. And they're going to keep trying to figure out, because they love messing with the kicking game more than any other other spot in the NFL.
Hit this post.
But hey, I got to give the plug. We have an awesome guest coming on tomorrow morning. I will be on the show on Wednesday. It is Dave Farrell, the bass player, Dave Phoenix Farrell of Lincoln Park. Will be joining the show. We'll be talking. He's a big golfer. He plays in this event called the Dunhill Links out in Scotland every year. Big golfer, golf buddy of mine, and a longtime bass player for the great band Lincoln Park, who is coming to Milwaukee on Monday. So they will be playing a show there. And
when are you going to see him in Nashville?
I'm checking him out on Thursday here in Nashville.
Got it. Yep.
We'll be golfing on Thursday morning, and so I'll report back with how all that goes, but can't wait to have him on the show tomorrow morning. First thing, he's jumping on right when we start at 9 a.m. So check us out.
Are you getting like hooked up backstage the whole shebang with him too?
I don't know.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are, man.
Know.
You dog. Yeah.
You dog.
Mason Park. That's what we call you.
Mason
now.
Park. Yep. Maybe they'll let me. Maybe they'll let me come on stage and just do a little something. I can scream into the mic. Yeah, I can do a little Linkin Park scream into the mic.
Okay, yeah. Just don't give you an instrument at all. Like,
no. Just turn that bad boy off.
Right. What if they're like, you got to kick this thing? Are you gonna be like, dude, I'm way more in the kicker to them?
Yeah, I'll kick something.
Okay.
Let me kick the drum set. Let's get crazy.
Kick the drum set. The Mason Crosby Show, a podcast. Don't forget it. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer coming up today at 2 o'clock. One preseason game left. He's got a bunch of guests coming on from around the NFC North to join him on Wisconsin Sports Daily. Served up by Wendy's this afternoon, starting at 2 on 12:50 a.m. 105.7 FM The Fan. Mason Crosby will be back tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day, my friend.
Yeah, buddy. Enjoy the rest of the Tuesday, and we'll crush it again in the morning.
Absolutely. Leadoff show coming up at 12 o'clock today. Doubleheader for Milwaukee as they will take on the Chicago Cubs once at 1 o'clock today. And then, of course, the nightcap at 7 o'clock as well. Leadoff show starts at noon and at 6 o'clock. I will see you guys back then. At that time, it's the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers, live from the 12:50 a.m. 105.7 FM The Fan studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
I was so